Chapter 103, No Time Like the Present. What type of alloy do you want? What size do you want? There are all of them in this list. Take a look and see which one you want. After learning of Zhu Tui's intentions, the teacher in charge of the weapons and equipment at the Genetic Armament Center immediately handed Zhu Tui a list. Zhu Tui looked at the list. There were 2-element and 3-element alloys in the tantalum alloy provided by the Genetic Armament Center. There were only 2 kinds of binary alloys, tantalum and titanium. He could purchase the binary alloys with cash. The price was simple, $5,000 a gram. Their specifications ranged from 2 grams to 10 grams. To be honest, it was rather expensive. However, 3-element alloy was more expensive, and there was a reason for how expensive it was. According to the introduction, more tantalum had been fused into the alloy, which reduced the resistance to mind power. However, the alloy was harder, more heat-resistant, and had less wind resistance. It was also because it had fused with more of the newly discovered precious metal ingots that he needed contribution points to purchase the 3-element alloy. A gram required 2 contribution points and $10,000 in cash. There were only 3 kinds of alloys: nickel-based tantalum, chromium-based tantalum, and titanium-based tantalum. Nickel-based tantalum alloy was a little toxic. It was not recommended for students to use it, much less use it repeatedly. It looked a little like a shotgun. It would automatically disintegrate into a few dozen bullets if it hit its target. It was extremely destructive. The wind resistance of chromium-based alloys was smaller. They were of the same size but heavier than titanium-based alloys. Titanium-based alloys were of the same size as the others but were lighter in weight. They were more resistant to corrosion and heat and had a smaller probability of being damaged during use. Teacher, give me 3-5 of these chromium-based tantalum alloys. Currently, the best number of alloy silver pills Zhu Tui could control was 2. He could also control 3, but the power would be reduced. However, he should have no problems controlling 3 of them after some time. Considering the fact that he could not retrieve the pills during battle, he decided to purchase 5 chromium-based alloy pills first. How many grams? 5 grams. These alloy silver pills could not be used if they were too heavy and did not have enough destructive power. If they were too light, they did not have enough destructive power. 10 contribution points for 1, 50,000 in cash, 50 points for 5, and 250,000 in cash. Zhu Tui felt the pinch when he heard the attendance price. It was too expensive. He had a little more contribution points, but he only had a little more than $500,000 in cash. He had lost half of that. Look, how much of a discount can I get with my low-grade level D rights? You'll get a 5% discount if you have low-grade level D rights. A discount of $10,000 was not bad. He thought for a moment, then handed over the supplementary card that Zhao Soxui had given him. Teacher, can you use this supplementary card? You can only obtain an affiliated card when your individual rights are level C. This is a low-grade level C affiliated card. According to the regulations, you could enjoy a 20% discount. However, the discount is only cash. You can't enjoy a discount on contribution points. The 20% discount saved Zhu Tui $50,000. Zhu Tui was a little surprised. Then let's settle the bill with this. Oh, yes, I wanted to ask if I can use my contribution points to exchange for a level E energy restoration elixir. Contribution points were extremely valuable. According to what the students and teachers said, contribution points could be used to purchase things that money could. However, contribution points could be used to purchase things that could not be exchanged for money. Coincidentally, he was here today. Zhu Tui wanted to know just how valuable these contribution points were. Use contribution points to exchange for a level E energy elixir. The attendant had a look of extreme shock. Based on the regulations, 10 contribution points can be exchanged for a level E energy restoration elixir. However, student, I advise you not to do that. Exchanging contribution points for things that can be bought with money is too much of a loss. Thank you for your reminder, teacher. I was just asking. A few minutes later, after Zhu Tui got his hands on the chromium alloy silver pills, he suddenly had a thought. He took out the flying sword that Zhao Soxui had sent him just now. Oh, yes. Can you see what kind of material this is? Can you customize a flying sword of this size? Currently, the flying sword that Zhao had given him was very suitable for him to use. However, Zhu Tu estimated that it would be a little small after he used it for 1 to 2 years. He needed to exchange it for something else. He would ask her about it when he was at it. This I need to examine it with a machine. It can't be seen with the naked eye. It's just right here. It'll be quick, the teacher in charge said. All right. The teacher in charge placed the silver flying sword that Zhu Tui handed him into the testing device. However, he immediately furrowed his brow. That was because the detector was beeping. He tried 3 times without success. I'm sorry, this device can't detect it. If you need it, you can bring it to the Research Institute at the Genetic Armament Center for testing. We can definitely detect it there, the teacher in charge said. No thank you. Zhu Tui did not want to hand such a precious item over to someone else and be out of his sight for a long time. He rejected the request on the spot. After retrieving the silver flying sword, Zhu Tui asked, "Oh, yes, teacher. Under normal circumstances, would this device be able to detect its metallic components? Actually, the equipment we use is the most advanced in the public domain. Under normal circumstances, we would only have such a scene if it mixed in special materials that have not been publicly discovered. Under normal circumstances, they would have been made out of special substances obtained from outer space. These unique substances obtained from outer space would have some unique effects. They are all extremely precious and rare," the teacher in charge said. "Oh, thank you, teacher." Zhu Tui had wanted to plan and customize a large flying sword as soon as possible. He did not expect the small flying sword in front of him to be made out of a unique material. "Are there any special effects? I'll ask Missin when I need to change in the future." Zhu Tui made use of every moment he had to focus on his training for the next few days. He had a great time training both in controlling his flying sword and the alloy silver pill to attack and defend. The benefits of having a high rating in the school were displayed at this moment. Students who had a rating of mid-grade level C and above could enjoy a private training room for free. The time limit was 14 hours. This was a private training room that was 30 meters long and 15 meters wide, although the flying sword still could not be used here. However, it was enough. It had been less than 2 months since school started, yet Zhu Tui was already skipping classes. Of course, it did not mean that Zhu Tui was intentionally skipping classes. It was just that he no longer needed to attend individual classes. For example, when Xiao's mind power training lesson, Zhu Tui would only attract the jealousy of others if he went. Thus, he decided not to go. However, what he did not know was that Zhan, the number 1 of the first-year students in the Mystery Branch Institute, looked for him several times during the mind power training lesson. However, he did not manage to find him. After he met Wang Luo, Zhu Wenqi, and the rest of the students at the Genetic Armament Center that day, especially since Wang Luo was a first-year student from the Mystery Branch. Not long after he returned, he told them about how Zhu Tui had already exchanged for a 100 grams vacuum silver tantalum bottle. The other students had the same reaction. They did not believe it. Exchanging for a 100 grams vacuum silver tantalum bottle was something only a third-year student could do. No matter how powerful Zhu Tui was, he could not do it. It was possible for Zhu Tui to exchange for a 20 grams bottle. Zhan's first reaction when he heard this was disbelief. However, there was no need for Wang Luo to lie about such a matter. Zhan had always wanted to confirm with Zhu Tui in person whether it was true. He did not have any other thoughts. He just wanted to make sure. Of course, he still had a competitive spirit. Zhan was publicly acknowledged as the best first-year student in the Mystery Branch. He successfully cultivated 3 superb type fire element abilities in less than 2 months. If he had to face Deng Wei today, he would definitely be able to blast the lonely testicle warrior, Deng Wei, out of the room and make him smell like roasted meat. Even if he did not improve as much as Zhu Tui in terms of mind power, he was very confident in his abilities. During these few weeks of practical use, not a single first-year student from the Mystery Branch was a match for Zhan at all. Of course, that was excluding Zhu Tui. Zhu Tui did not participate in the first 2 weeks, but he had not attended any classes during these 2 weeks. It made Zhan anxious. Chazan, who had been holding back for several days, finally lost his patience. He went straight to the School of Enlightened Mind to look for Zhu Tui. Zhu Tui was on the phone when he found him. "Brother Chai, do you have any thoughts about how I killed you in your room at the student reception center?" Zhu Tui laughed through the phone. "The time we fought, when you smashed a glass with a bean and made me pay for it, while the other bean directly loosened my front teeth? That's right. If we were to take that battle seriously, you would have already died in battle." "Scram! Aren't you talking nonsense? That was the battlefield that you had planned. Furthermore, I was taking a beating passively. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the chance to attack. Dying in battle? You would have died 10 times over." Chai Zhao became angry when the topic of dying in battle was brought up. He almost stomped his feet in frustration when Zhu Tui mentioned it. "Why? Are you indignant that you were killed?" Zhu Tui actively provoked him. "Oh?" Chai Zhao froze on the other end of the line. "You lad, you are provoking me. You are actively causing trouble. Tell me, what exactly do you want to do?" "It's nothing much. I've gotten much stronger recently and want to test my abilities." "Brother Chai, you are a more suitable target." Chai Zhao, who was on the other end of the line, immediately widened his eyes. "You've gone overboard, lad. You're getting carried away. I am ranked 89th on the Year to Longhu list. You are a first-year student, yet you dare to say that I am a suitable target for your challenge. You're asking for a beating. Tell me, when do you want me to knock your teeth out?" Chai Zhao said. "There's no time like the present," Zhu Tui said with a smile. "My God, you sure are arrogant. All right, I'll satisfy you. I'll show you how to spell senior. You decide on the location. Training building, room A72 in 15 minutes. I've already reserved a room," Zhu Tui said. Tsk. It looks like you planned this all along. You really want to practice swimming in a tank of feces. All right, I'll satisfy you. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Chai Zhao laughed angrily. "Thank you, Brother Chai." Zhu Tui thanked him because he was looking for a worthy opponent. Chai Zhao was a rather good choice. A second-year student who was also ranked on the Year to Longhu list. Chai Zhao would arrive with a call from Zhu Tui. Naturally, he had to thank him. "Hey, Chazan, what are you doing in our class?" Zhu Tui, who had just finished his call, saw Chazan. Chazan had wanted to ask Zhu Tui about how he used a 100 grams bottle, but he changed his tone when he heard that Zhu Tui was going to challenge someone else. "I heard that you are going to battle a second-year senior. I want to go and observe. Is that all right?" Compared to a purely numerical comparison, Chazan placed more importance on the outcome of the battle. Chazan had already decided that he wanted to have a battle with Zhu Tui if the opportunity presented itself. "All right, let's head over together." Zhu Tui did not refuse after he thought about it. He also wanted to fight with Chazan after he fought Chai Zhao. That was because he not only had to face students from the Extreme Branch Institute, but he also had to face students from the Mystery Branch Institute if he wanted to challenge the Longhu list. All of these required Zhu Tui to accumulate actual combat experience.